What's going on? It is Craig Bennett, aka Casca, here with DFSArmy. I'm here for another NBA First Look podcast. It's a 9-gamer on Saturday, the 15th. We got some NFL on hands, but that doesn't mean we can't play a little NBA. And with NFL winding down, we have these big slates now coming on Saturday. So we should see these as we're in the playoffs with NFL. Again, if you like these videos, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to break this down game by game, kind of go through, talk about injury news, some guys we can play, and some guys that we're looking at maybe to get some leverage, kind of build a sample DraftKings team, talk about Fanduel pricing, but let's just jump right into it. As you can see, I have DraftKings up here. We're just going to use that as a price point, and again, we'll build a little sample lineup, kind of talk about some plays, talk a little bit about injury, and just kind of go through it like we usually do. If you don't like this format, you want a different kind of format, hit me up in the comment section. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you want. If you want something a little different, or if this is you prefer me doing it this way. I'm doing these for you guys to bring you guys any value. Hopefully they help. But let's just dive right into this and see what we got on tap today. Again, it's a 10-gamer, but it's 9 games on the main slate. There's a Toronto, Milwaukee is on an island. It's at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to start the first game here is Portland at Washington. It is sitting at a 218 over under with Washington favored by 7.5. Portland, there's still no Norman Powell. He is out. Larry Nance is out. McCollum's still out. Cody Zeller is out. Anthony Simmons is back though, so we'll take some of that value that we played last slate this team's run, where we had all the DSJ and Macklemore we could get our hands on. You can still play a few of those guys if you want at their price points, but they're priced up now, and it's going to be the Simmons show, man. It's going to be all him. On the Washington side, there's no Bradley Beal, and the old Red Rocket, Davis Bertans, is questionable. So on the Portland side, again, with all these guys out, you got to look at playing Simmons, man. You just do. He's going to have a massive usage rate. He's 7,200. Yeah, that might seem a little high, but look at the games that he's played. And when he's in, 48, 45, 31, 45, 60 fantasy points. And he's playing Washington, which is down Beal. So I love him here. I'm going to slide him actually in the shooting guard because I think there's some other plays we'll like. But I think you have to go here. I think he's going to be pretty damn popular. But again, a play that I'm kind of willing to eat at that price point at 7,600. If we go look on FanDuel, look at his price point over there. He's at, what is he sitting at? He should be a little cheaper. He usually is. Price point on FanDuel is, everything that they have is pretty soft. So generally he's cheaper over there. So 7,500 is actually more expensive. So they actually got it right for once. Again, no problem playing him even at that price point, 7,500, with the minutes and usage that he's going to have. No problem sliding him in there. Nurkic, 7,800 on DraftKings, 7,300 on FanDuel. Way better price point on FanDuel. I don't really want to play too much of him on DraftKings, but if you want to play, if you want to play him, it's okay. But just looking at fantasy points against center, Washington is 6th in the league to attack, so they're pretty weak. If you want to play some Nurkic, I don't blame you. FanDuel's just a way better price. I don't think you need to go there. I think there's some value we can play at that position at center, so I don't think I'm going to go there in this sample lineup. But in play, Rocco at 6K, that's just a stay away from me. 5,600 on FanDuel is a little more palatable, but I don't think I can get there. Little 5,800 on DraftKings, 5,400 on FanDuel. Again, it's one of those things where I don't mind taking a few shots at him in tournaments, but these guys are all priced up. I think DraftKings did that because considering if Simmons was out, these guys are, were too cheap, and there was like, you needed 4 of them that last slate they played. Macklemore, I'm not going to play any Dennis Smith Jr. with Simmons back. DSJ's minutes will be down into the teens, and he's just overpriced right now. But Macklemore, 4,800 on DraftKings, 5,200 on FanDuel. He's going to probably start again next to Simmons. So if you want to play him, I still think he's in play, but not someone that I'm going to try to force in my lineups. But DSJ is going to be a complete fade for me. Ellaby's priced up a little bit on FanDuel at 4K. On 3,500, it's still a fair price, but he's not going to play more than probably teens minutes. It's the starting lineup's going to be, Simmons, Macklemore, Little, Covington, and Nurkic. But I'm just going to put Simmons in this lineup. On the other side here, we got Bradley Beal out, so it's going to be the Dinwiddie Kuzma show like usual. Dinwiddie is only 6,800 on DraftKings. Again, still too cheap for what he's doing. He was around 6K there for the last two slates with this happening, but there's no reason that we can't go right back to him. He's priced at 6,900 on FanDuel. Again, he's probably going to be popular. We'll throw him in this sample lineup, going up against Portland, which is just atrocious with all their guys out. No problem going him. I have no problem playing Kuzma too in the same lineup. He's been chucking the ball a ton, playing a lot of minutes. 8,700 on FanDuel, 8,100 on DraftKings. He won't be as owned just due to the fact that they just, the price point. People don't want to pay that, but he has spots where he's hit almost 60 fantasy points against Orlando, 47, 41, 59, 30. So he can still get there for you. Gafford at 5,800. I can't pay that at all. It's a complete fade for me. 5,500 on FanDuel. With Montrezl Harrell back, and on top of that, they have Thomas Bryant is back as well. So there's just minutes to go everywhere. So it's kind of a mess. Stay away situation for me at center position. Don't really want to go there at all. Even Thomas Bryant, 3,700. I just don't think he's going to get the minutes. If we saw something where he was going to get the minutes, I understand. Just can't go there. Again, all these guys on a 9-game slate, don't even mess with it. I don't want any of these guys. KCP is going to play a ton of minutes, but price point wise, you can't pay 5K for him. I ain't going to do it. Kispert, if you want to take a shot on him, he does start 30 minutes. He's 3,600 on DraftKings, 3,900 on FanDuel. He's put up 15, 25. I don't think the uses are going to be there for him, and I think there's better value on this slate. So going to stay away from there. Next game here, let's go. The New York Knicks at Atlanta Falcons, 213.5 over under with Atlanta favored by 3. Julius Randle, 8,600. Don't really want to pay that. I really don't like this game on this side of it. Maybe some Alex Burks here. Let's first go through the injury news. I apologize. Cam Reddish is now he's not on Atlanta anymore. He is on Nick now. If you didn't catch that, he got traded a couple days ago over to the New York Knicks. Should be fun. Him pairing up with Barrett. Kemba Walker is still out, so both those guys are out. On Atlanta side, Clint Capella is questionable. Kevin Knox was part of that trade with the Knicks, so he's now an Atlanta Falcon. That's what I was going to call him. And then Jalen Johnson is questionable as well. But on the Knicks side, RJ Barrett's been playing really good ball. 6,800 on DraftKings, 6,900 on FanDuel. He's got a couple real big games here. 44, 43, 34, 48. So he's got a couple 40. So I don't mind him in tournaments at all at that price point. With what he's been doing up against Atlanta, I think that's something that you could kind of see there. Alec Burks, with all these guys out, 5,800 on DraftKings, 5,900 on FanDuel. He's going to be running the point here. 34, 29, 22, 27, 33 over his last 5. He's not shooting a ton, but does a little bit of everything. So you're going to have to love him. I think you're going to want one of Alec Burks or Barrett in your lineups here. I don't think you want to run both. But at their price points, they might both get there. I think you just want one. Decide if we want to put Barrett in this or Burks. I think we'll throw Burks in this and throw him at the small forward position, which is kind of nice. But again, you can run both, or just one or the other. But those are the guys I would target. I don't want any Fournier. He's 5,100 on DraftKings, 5,500 on FanDuel. Yes, he had a couple big games lately, 24, 32, 66. I just hate playing him. But if you want to take some shots in tournaments, I understand. Then I'm not playing any of these other guys. Quickly at 4,400 on DraftKings, 4,800 on FanDuel. Tournaments only for me. He's just so volatile. But if he does randomly get minutes, he can get you there. So tournaments only. None of these other bigs that I want. With them, it's not like Knox was getting any playing time for him anyways. On the Atlanta side, again, with Capella out, if Capella does sit, he's questionable. Okongwu will step in here. And he's 4,500. So you'd have to consider him, but he's not really done anything major, and he's priced up a little bit. So nobody that I'm truly excited to play. Trae Young is 9,900 on DraftKings, 9,700 on FanDuel. Probably better play on FanDuel. John Collins, 7,100 on DraftKings, 7,700 on FanDuel. Again, I don't really like playing these guys going up against the Knicks too much. I will say if Capella was out, the one guy I would consider is the Gorgeous Dong, old Gorgie Jang. He saw 15 minutes last game, 10 fantasy points. If something happens, man, and he gets into the 20s, he's absolutely going to crush. So one guy to keep your mind, in consideration if we get Capella out with everyone and their mom, or just going to go to Okongwu, I'd rather take the discount play at min price, Dang, and hope that he hits here. So, Hunter is 4,500 on FanDuel. He is priced at excuse me. He is priced at $3K on DraftKings. Another price here that he put at 30 DraftKings points last night. Again, if we see him back in the starting lineup at $3K, I think you got to throw him in this lineup. I'm assuming it'll be Young, Collins, Bogdanovich, Hunter, and then one of, if Dang starts, man, I love him, or Capella. So we got to really kind of consider what's going on with the news and, if he does sit, because, man, there could be some amazing value on this slate if we get these guys, are going to play or not. So Capella is really going to change this whole slate depending on if we're going to play any Dang or Hunter. I'm going to throw Hunter in this lineup just because he's so cheap. I like these power forward eligible. That's kind of nice. Throw him into this lineup. And again, you got 2 3K pieces we can look at here depending on the news. And it's a 7:30 game, so we probably should have it. Next game here, we got the Pelicans at the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant is back and playing because this is a home game. We're not going to see any Kyrie Irving. LaMarcus Aldridge is still out. James Harden is in. Claxton is questionable, so that could open up some bigs again, like Sharp and Griffin. Patty Mills is in, and Joe Harris is still out. I think he's getting close to returning, maybe in a week or two, but he's been out a while. Once those team gets completely healthy, we'll probably stay off of them. But on the Brooklyn side, they're completely healthy. There's nobody that we need to really worry about here. So on the Pelican side, 9,200 for Ingram, 8,200 on FanDuel. Very fair price on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I'm not going to probably go there on this slate. Joe Val's 8,300 on DraftKings, 7,600 on FanDuel. Again, better price on FanDuel than over here on DraftKings. I don't think I'm going to pay that. Josh Hart is priced up, man. That's surprising to see. He's finally getting up to 7K, but he's been so consistent. Set at 25, 40, 23, 37, 34, just plays heavy minutes. I don't think I can go there at that price point for him. 6,600 on FanDuel is, like I said, a little more palatable. Herb Jones, though, man, 4,600 on DraftKings, 6,100 on FanDuel. I think this is a misprice here on DraftKings. 32, 16, 21, 33, 28. Only had that one bad game against Minnesota. Plays a ton of minutes, starts, plays the mid-30s minutes. And that one game, they only had 16 DraftKings points. He was in foul trouble there. So I think we can continue to go there. If you want to check it out, I do have a prize picks video where I drop my 5 favorite prize picks. And, he may or may not be on that video. So if you want to check it out, check out that video and see some of those prize picks, man. And he may or may not be on that booger. So, yeah, again, it's kind of crazy. He's center eligible as well. I think I'm going to throw him in this lineup. I just like that price point. Kind of, want a piece of this game. And he just seems like the most egregious price. Graham is always a tournament option, 5,500 on both sites. Put up 33 against the Clippers. For that, 23, 17, 10, and then a 42 against Phoenix. So it's one of those things where if he gets hot, he's going to go off, but he's super volatile and would not be a cash piece for me or single entry. Only full MME, I would even consider him. Over on the Brooklyn side, like I said, Durant and Harden are both back. They're priced both at 11K. If you want to play one of them, I can understand that, going up against the Pelicans. But it's one of those things where I don't know if I would pay that much for them, right? Like they are expensive when they're both in there. They could both get there, I guess, but it's tough, man. It's tough. So in this lineup, I don't think I'm going to pick one. But, with being only point guard eligible kind of stinks, but I get it. Like having them both back, 11K is kind of tough to swallow. But having them both back hurts guys like Cam Thomas. Patty Mills, 4,700 on DraftKings, 4,200 on FanDuel. I kind of like the price on FanDuel a little bit better. Like I said, if we don't have any Claxton's a 4,600. If Claxton plays, I like Claxton. He's got just great chemistry with Harden, and he loves lobbing it up to him. But if he's out, again, we got Sharp at 3,600, Griffin at 3,100. One of these guys is going to have to play big minutes because they're going up against Joval. They need the size. It's not like they can play small against them. And again, 20 minutes, put up 14 against OKC. He was uber chalk that slate. But before that, 29, 30. This is one of those things where you can kind of go back to him. I'm going to put him in this lineup. But again, if Claxton's back, do not play Sharp. Do not play Sharp if he doesn't start, So there's risk to it, so understand that. But hopefully a lot of people get off of him, and hopefully we can benefit from that. So we're going to throw him in this lineup and kind of see what's going on. You know what? We'll throw Harden in this lineup. We can move some stuff around, but we have plenty of money to fit in this. In this lineup in particular, you could go even Durant or Harden and still have 8K left. So it's one of those things. We'll throw Harden in it just because we have the money, kind of see what goes on. Next game, we'll go Philly at Miami. This might just be a complete scratch off for me here, but let's look into it a little bit. This game is sitting at a 207.5 over under with Miami favored by 2. Super low, super low. Not so much. I don't know how much fantasy goodness we're going to have out of this bad boy. But looking at injury news, Danny Green is questionable. Matisse Thybulle is questionable. On Miami, Bam is still out. He's probably going to be back on Monday, I would believe. Markieff Morris, he's been out forever. He could probably be back on Monday. And those are the two big pieces for Miami. So, again, this is almost a stay away spot for me. On both sides, we got 11-4 Embiid, 10-6 on FanDuel. It's just, on a slate this big, I'm not going to take chances at teams that are, they're basically fully healthy on Philly. Over on the Miami side, Butler is back, played pretty good last night, I think. 48 DraftKings points against Atlanta, played 33 minutes. So, with that ankle, didn't really change him at all. But with him back, it hurts the upside of Hero, Lowry, Yurtseven. To me, it's a stay away spot, man. He's priced up. I don't really want any of these other guys. On these big slates, I'd rather just be like, let's move on. So let's move on. Cleveland at OKC. We have a 209.5 over under, and Cleveland is favored by 5.5. If they haven't been the team that no one saw coming, I don't know who else is, because they've been damn good this year. Rajon Rondo is questionable. And then on OKC, we still have no Kendrick Williams or Isaiah Roby. But on the Cleveland side, man, you can just, OKC bleeds points to everybody. So any of these guys are in play. Allen's 8K on DraftKings. Over here on FanDuel, he is 7,900. Don't mind that at all if you want to take a chance for tournaments. But again, they're kind of getting healthy as well. With Mobley back, he's 7,500 on FanDuel, 7,300 on DraftKings. If you want a little bit of a price difference, he fits in this lineup nice too. I kind of like Mobley against OKC, just any athletic big or any big, they just kind of bleed points to. And there is 40-point upside with him. Didn't quite see it against the Spurs, but again, he plays heavy minutes, 39, 36, 42, 36, putting up, 30, 40, 38, 25, 38 DraftKings points. Definitely in consideration in this matchup. Kevin Love, 6,300 on DraftKings, 5,600 on FanDuel. Just doesn't play enough minutes for me. Lauri Markkanen, 5,600 on DraftKings, 6K on FanDuel. Don't mind him in tournaments. And then Garland, 7,900 on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, 8,100. Had a big game last night, 54. Last two games, 54 and 50. So if you want to play a guy like this, you can actually fit in Garland in this lineup we're kind of building out, and put Durant as the forward. So there's some different ways you can make this kind of lineup work. Again, things are going to change. It is early. And while we're sitting here and wait for the next game or going over to OKC, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel. And if you want access to all our projections, cheat sheets and everything, we got them 7 days a week, everything. Head on over to DFSArmy, use promo code CashCake, save yourself 10% and get access to all my projections, all the cheat sheets that we have, and everything in our Discord. Ask questions, what's going on. But yeah, let's go to OKC. OKC, they were really good against Brooklyn. And boy, man, if you had some Shai Gilgeous-Alexander against Brooklyn last game, put up 65 spot. Dude gets to the rim. He just gets to the rim. He's so hit or miss. I don't think this is a good matchup to going up against Cleveland, though. I don't think I want to target these guys. Hopefully people will chase him. Giddey, 7,500 on DraftKings. Over on Fanduel, they only got 102 implied team total. 6,700 on Fanduel. I don't mind that price at all. I ain't playing SGA, though. I'm not chasing that 65-point game, not going up against Cleveland. Dort, 5,700 on Fanduel, 5,700 on DraftKings. If his shot's going, he can get some things going. But again, 9-game slate. I don't think I'm going to touch a lot of these guys. We probably see Robinson Earl start again, 3,800 on both sides, tournament only. Baisley's been playing pretty good here. He's 4,500 on DraftKings. He doesn't start. He's been playing off the bench, but he's had a pretty decent, games, 24, 29, 20, 23 DraftKings points in 4 of his last 5. Again, coming off the bench, playing anywhere in the mid-20s minutes, tournament option only. Don't play him in cash, but it's just something that surprised me, and maybe they need his size a little bit more against Cleveland so he gets more runs. So something we can think about there. But again, not a game I'm really looking to target much at all. Next game here, we got Chicago at Boston. This game is sitting at a 219.5 over under, with Chicago favored by 1.5. No, I take that back. Boston favored by 4.5. Zach LaVine is out. I was going to say, there's got to be some kind of news of Boston's favored here because they're not a very good team. Alex Caruso is out. Javonte Green is out. Zach LaVine is out. He's probably going to return sometime next week. Marcus Smart is still questionable on the Boston side. So this thing opens up a little bit with LaVine out, Before, it's like you couldn't really play Chicago guys too much because you didn't really know where it's going to go. DeMar DeRozan's the guy I'm looking at. FanDuel, 8K, lock him in. DraftKings, 8,500. Definitely going to want some of him. He's going to, take a lot more of the scoring load on here. Lonzo Ball, 6,800 on FanDuel, 7K on DraftKings. Don't mind him at all. Maybe we see a little bit more Kobe White. He'll probably slide in that starting lineup. 5,200 on both sites. I think that's something we can look at. Put up 24, had 17 shots against Golden State. So it's one of those things where that we could kind of see, a tournament option for him. But I think DeMar DeRozan's the guy you really want. If we slid him in this lineup here, even with Harden, we're about 700 over. Maybe we want to take Harden out and kind of look around a little bit, or just fire and come off of Jones a little bit. There's different things you can do, but man, I love DeRozan. I don't really want to take a bunch of these other guys. Looking at Vucevic, 8,700 on DraftKings, 8,900 on FanDuel. Going up against Boston, again, I think he's got to do a little bit more scoring, so definitely can consider him. But DeRozan is the guy I want in cash games here, in tournaments, and then tournaments, Ball, White, Vooch, all very much in play. On the Boston side, again, Tatum 9-3, Brown 9-1. Both tournament options here. I wouldn't play these guys in cash games. They're coming off a back-to-back playing against Philly. But tournament options, especially Brown on FanDuel, 8,800. Tatum's 9,900 on FanDuel. Time Lord, 6,900 on DraftKings, 7,100 on FanDuel. Don't really love these prices, really. If Smart were able to sit, Dennis Schroeder, I don't mind, 5,100 on DraftKings, 5,500 on FanDuel. He'll be in that starting lineup, so I don't mind that. But no one I'm trying to force in here in this, but I wouldn't play both Brown and Tatum together. I would make a rule for that. They're both not going to put up massive points, in my opinion. So again, don't really love it, but you can take some chances at some of these guys. Let's head on to the next game here. We have the Clippers at the Spurs. This game is sitting in at 218.5 over under, and the Spurs are favored by 2.5. On the Clippers side, injury consideration that we do have, Hartenstein is questionable, so maybe he'll be back. He's been out for a while. Luke Kennard is out. Justice Winslow is out. And on the Spurs, no. Derek White's still questionable. Trey Jones is questionable, and still no Zach Collins. So in those games, I'm not super excited about. But the Spurs do bleed points to the point guard. So if you want to take a couple shots at Jackson at 5,900, I don't mind it at all. Over on FanDuel, he's priced at 5,300. That's super cheap. I like him over there. But I think it's a good matchup for the Clippers here. Got 108 implied team total here. So these guys are all too cheap. Marcus Morris, 6,700 on DraftKings, 6,200 on FanDuel. He hasn't been getting it done since Coffee slid in that starting lineup. And I think that's really affects him. I talked about it last pod. Coffee's 5,400 on DraftKings, 5,500 on FanDuel. I would rather go Coffee. 21, 43, 33. They got their butts kicked against the Pelicans. But before that, and in competitive games, 43 and 33. And I think this is a matchup you can throw him in there. So I really like Coffee here. I really like Reggie Jackson here. Bledsoe coming off the bench at 5,500. Don't love it, but definitely in tournaments, you can take a shot at him if you're not going Reggie Jackson. I wouldn't play those guys in the same lineup, though. Terrence Mann, coming off the bench at 4,600 on FanDuel, 4,800 on DraftKings. Better price on FanDuel. Tournaments only for me. And if Hartenstein comes back, he'll probably just back up Zubac. And Zubac is, 4,500. You probably need the size going up against Jakob Poeltl. But man, Hartenstein is 5,500. It's ridiculous. Zubac is 4,200 on FanDuel, which is a great price. Hartenstein is 5,500. What sense that make? I don't know. So again, dude hasn't played in almost a month, so it's kind of hard to love that, but it kind of eat into Zubac a little bit. But again, I think you might want a piece of this game. Over on the Spurs side, if White does still sit, you got to consider looking at Murray here at 10-8 on DraftKings, 10-5 on FanDuel. He's put up some monster, stats here. 60, 73 over his last two games. So you got to consider him in tournaments, We're 100 short playing him in this lineup. It would be a pretty sweet lineup. Jakob Poeltl, 6,600 is a little priced out for me. I don't love that. 6,200 on FanDuel is more palatable. Can't really go that on DraftKings. And then it's like, what guard do you play? Lonnie Walker, 5K, no thanks. Primo, 4,200. Bates Diop at 4,100. With Keldon Johnson, back at 5,200. It's just like Russian roulette with these dudes. So if it ain't Murray and it ain't Jakob Poeltl on FanDuel, I don't want it. Go to the next game here. We got Lakers at Denver. This should be a fun one. Denver is favored by 3.5 here. I'm sorry, Denver's favored by 4. It's a 224.5 over under. On the Lakers, or injury consideration that we have, Anthony Davis is still out. Dwight Howard is questionable. LeBron James is probable. He's going to play. Melo is questionable. That could open up some scoring for a few guys. And then Will Barton is probable. And then Jermichael Green is probable as well. So we're not going to see any Jeff Green in the starting lineup this time. So, but if we look here for the Lakers, we know what it is. It's when these two guys play, it's LeBron James at 11-9. Westbrook has been horrendous. 9,600 on DraftKings, 8,500 on FanDuel. Now Denver gives up a ton of points to the point guard. If we just look at DraftKings points against point guard, the Nuggets are 5th worst in the league. So if there was ever a get right spot for Westbrook, it's here. But man, that dude is shooting horribly. 15%, 16%, 28%, 36%. Just the dude can't hit anything. So no one's going to be on him. If you want to take a shot at a low-owned Westbrook and hope that his shot finally goes, this is the time to do it. I just can't stand the guy. I don't like him. I don't like the way he plays. But again, for DFS purposes, I think he makes a great leverage play because of how bad he's been. So 110 implied team total. If you're going to not play LeBron James, I would not play him in the same lineup. I'd make that a rule real quick because if Westbrook's going off, LeBron James is not paying off that 11-9. Malik Monk, 5,700 FanDuel. Love that play. Love it. Been in the starting lineup playing mid-30s minutes just to score. 6,500 on DraftKings I don't like, but FanDuel, 5,700 is a really good price. But look at this. 41, 22, 46, 41, 30. Maybe got to reconsider that, man. I mean, I know he's been putting up good numbers here, but that's some monster numbers. So again, if Westbrook continues to struggle, they're going to have to get scoring from somewhere, and it's got to be from Monk. So we can look at that. If Melo does sit, maybe we see a little bit more Hart and Tucker in that second unit try to score. Maybe Trevor Ariza does a little bit here. But it's basically Russian roulette on these guys for the Lakers outside of Monk, Westbrook, LeBron James. And again, Westbrook's going to be low-owned with what he's done, but if you want to take a chance on him, I get it. On the Denver side, we all know what it is. It's a Jokic show, man, but 12.6 is a hefty price tag. 11-1 on FanDuel, way better price on FanDuel. 12.6, hard to swallow that price tag. Man, I mean, that's just up there. And, he hasn't really paid it off, except for, 4 or 5 games ago. Against Utah, he put up 75. That paid off. But 43, 50, 56 is not going to get it done. And they blew out Portland, of course, so only saw 28 minutes last game. The Clippers were just a weird, ugly game. Was horrible in that first half, then came back and did pretty well and lost at 50. I think he gets up for the game, but that's a expensive tag. Will Barton is very interesting though. 5,900 on DraftKings, 5,900 at FanDuel. With him probable to play, love that price on him. No problem playing him. I don't like chasing any kind of Aaron Gordon ceiling game, so you won't see me playing any Aaron Gordon here. And then again, it comes down to J. Mike's interesting at 3,400. If you want to get off some of the chalkier guys like Sharp, if Claxton is out, J. Mike is really interesting. If you want to go same price, Jeff Green off the bench, been playing really well. He's 5K on FanDuel, but he's only 3,600 on DraftKings. 29, 15, 20, 25. Saw that start against Portland with J. Mike out, so he's not going to start. But if you see, he still has upside here. JaMychal Green in the games he's 9, 10, not very good, 28. So Jeff Green's probably, he's fighting for that usage against Jokic. So Jeff Green makes just a great pivot off Sharp. So something to think about is all. Hate playing these guards, man. Monte Morris, 4,700. Again, it's one of those things where the Lakers actually give up the second most DraftKings points in the league here to point guards. So Monte Morris makes a really interesting tournament play at 4,700 on both sites. Really like him for tournaments, but couldn't go there in cash. Last game, we're going Orlando at Dallas here. We're looking at 208 over under. Extremely low team total. Only thing lower on the slate is Philly at Miami. And Dallas is favored by 10.5. 10.5. Dallas. On the Orlando side, Fultz is out. Moore's still out. Bamba's questionable. Carter's questionable. If those guys sit, we might look at some Lopez. But if they come back, who knows? Porzingis is still out. So, we know what to do there. Willie Cauley-Stein is questionable. So on the Orlando side, we did see Suggs come back and play off the bench in a minutes limit. He ended up playing 22 minutes last night, put up 29 DraftKings points. So on a back-to-back, we'll have to kind of see what they're going to do. If they play him, they only got a 99 implied team total. But 5,600 on FanDuel, great price on DraftKings. We know he's a scorer, so I like some Suggs if he's going to play. And they say, but being out for so long, he was out for, 6 weeks, man. So on a back-to-back, he might end up sitting, or they might just only play him minutes. But there is tournament upside there. Cole Anthony, 7,600 on DraftKings, 7,800 on FanDuel. Don't really want to go there unless both Carter and Bamba are out. Then I don't mind taking some chances at Wagner and Cole Anthony, but not a team I'm targeting. They got the lowest implied team total on the slate, and just don't go crazy here. On the Dallas side, we know it's going to be Luka Doncic, 11-1 on DraftKings, 10-4 on FanDuel, way better price on FanDuel. With Porzingis out, we're going to see, again, more than likely, Brunson's going to be that second guy again. 6K on FanDuel is way too cheap. 7,400 on DraftKings, I don't love it. 44, 31, 30, 37 over his last 4. But even at that price, I don't think he gets you there. Finney Smith's been really good. 4,600 on DraftKings, 27, 12, 21, 18, 33. He's going to get a big run, and I think that's the reason why I do like him. He'll play mid-30s minutes regardless. Dwight Powell, if we have no Willie Cauley-Stein, he'll have to play some decent minutes. Same with Kleba. Kleba's 5,500 on FanDuel. Don't love that. But 4,700 on DraftKings if you want to take a chance on him. I really don't like playing him unless he's sub 4K. So I'm not going to go super heavy here. Like I said, Powell at 3,700. Again, another way to maybe get a little different on Sharp if we don't have any Claxton, in that way. So, again, not a great game to end it, but I think that Lakers-Denver game is going to be a lot of fun and a game that I want to attack. So if you like this breakdown, hit that thumbs up for me. Subscribe to the channel. And, fun 9-game slate on our hands. Hope this helps out. If this helps out, you want to see more of it. Like I said, if you want a different format, if you don't like the way I'm doing this, hit me up in the comment section. These things are for you, and I hope to help you win some money. So with that, I'll see you on the flip side. Deuces.